Hey, Tim.
Hey, Greg.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Almost the weekend.
Almost the weekend. Kids are going back to school in a couple days.
Oh, yeah. You know, you never realize how important that is when you don't work at home. Because when you work at home and they're home, oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's a different world.
Yeah. Like COVID really was a tough one, having them on top of you, right?
Yeah. And I think, for the rest of the world who doesn't work out of their home all the time, they got a little taste of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for just that middle of the day, maybe take a nap, not feel bad about it.
Bowl of cereal. Are you a daytime talk show guy, Tim?
Sally, Jesse, Raphael. Yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I watched, George Springer when I was younger, just to see the ridiculousness that was going on. But
yeah,
it got old pretty quick.
It did. Their script was pretty much the same in every episode. Everyone be calm, then someone get a little crazy, and then let's fight.
Yeah, and it was so obvious it was coming. The guards or security guy, on each side were just like ready to pounce on them. And,
yeah. It's like a WWE event, but daytime talk show.
Yeah. All right. So did you know anybody whoever appeared on a daytime talk show?
That's a good question. I don't think I do.
No.
Well, I know someone who was on a show, but not a talk show.
Okay.
One of my wife's cousins was on Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. It was fun, but I think he happened to be on with someone who just was like one of those people that they were just so quick, like they didn't even get anybody else an opportunity.
Oh.
And once they got like their opportunity to start, guessing, they would just
Pounce
win,
on it.
and it was like he just kept looking like, come on, let the rest of us have a shot. Because I think he would have performed really well. Like he's really like sharp, and I think he would have done really well. But just happened to be on someone who just sort of hogged the wheel.
I knew one guy who was from high school who appeared on Sally, Jesse, Raphael. I didn't know him well. And he was on because he had tons of piercings and funky hair, shaved and different colors, and he his parents wanted him to stop or some nonsense. So it's like weird, like very surreal to see, like turn it on and be like, oh my gosh, that's somebody I know.
It's kind of cool though. I mean, regardless of the circumstances, just to be like, hey, I know that person.
It was, yeah.
So,
but that was it, just the one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's some other people that I'm not thinking of. I mean, there's one guy I know who ended up being in a band that, ended up being on all kinds of talk shows and stuff like that. And so that was kind of cool. He had gone out on his own and recorded a bunch of music. Actually wrote a song with one of the guys from Stone Temple Pilots. Really?
The DeLeo?
Yeah. And then after that, like his solo album, he was on MTV. Like they had like the new, what is it? I forget what it's called. Yeah, New Artist Spotlight.
Yeah,
he was on that, and it seemed like his career was going to really take off. And then I just don't think that it got to that next level. So then he started playing in other bands, and so he was, he played for a couple different bands just as an additional instrumentalist, and then he ended up hooking up with a particular musician, and then she was on all these local talk shows and national talk shows, and so he got to perform on live on pretty much every morning show and everything. I think he played at like the Grand Ole Opry and all these like really cool stages that he got to perform on. So it was pretty neat. Yeah,
that is really cool.
Yeah. So a little shout out to Alex if you're listening to the podcast. Way to go, buddy.
How's he not been a guest?
Yeah. Alex, if you're listening and you want to come on, let me know.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
So, did you? I know we had talked earlier. You want to do another game of MBA?
Let's do it. It's a lot of fun.
All right, cool. I know. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I think I asked you first last time. So if you want to, take the ball, I guess, this time.
All right. I'm looking for a little revenge. Because last time I think you took the crown.
Yeah, we're 1 for 1, I think so.
I do have to say, well, I just felt like I needed to get that off my chest.
No, I didn't know you were going to bring that sort of animalistic, intensity to this game, but apparently, just let it rip.
If it happens again, I apologize, but sometimes you just gotta relax and let it out.
I didn't know this was going to be like a thriller video situation where it starts out all calm and mellow, and before you know it.
Tim, why are your eyes yellow? Oh, that's jaundice.
I didn't want to talk about it, but it is what it is.
I was going to say, it's getting slim pickings, so prepare to be amazed.
All right.
All right, round one. Round one. Here we go. All right. How about Steeplechase?
Okay.
Thomas Dolby.
Okay.
And Things Remembered.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Thomas Dolby is the band.
Okay.
Steeplechase as the game.
Mm-hmm.
And was it Things Remembered?
Yep.
I'll say that's the store.
Nice. Yep.
All right.
3 for 3.
All right. Starting off strong. All right. Ooh. Okay.
Those were the layups. No, actually, I thought Thomas Dolby was going to trip you up because it sounds like
it has sort of a Tom McCann sort of quality to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to know his hit single?
I do remember Thomas Dolby, but the name of the song is escaping me. So go ahead, hit me with it.
She blinded me with silence.
I was gonna say that, but I was like, if I say that and I'm wrong, then I'm gonna say something really stupid. So, but yeah, that was a good one. I like that. The video was pretty wild too.
Yeah.
With I think there was like a bunch of mannequins that he had like all hooked up and they were
moving around. Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah.
It was one of those that scared me as a kid.
Yeah. Although it might have inspired Kevin in Home Alone to do his whole thing with the mannequins dancing. Right. Maybe that's where it came from. Okay. Well, there we go.
All right.
For you in round one, we're gonna go with Stronghold, Structure, and Soft Cell. 3 S's.
Oh, okay. Well, Soft Cell is the band.
Okay.
I even know their hit song, Tainted Love.
All right.
Structure has to be the store, the band. I'm sorry, the mall store, Structure.
Okay.
Right? That's my guess. I don't know. And the other one was something.
Stronghold.
Stronghold.
Yeah.
And that would be the Atari game.
Yes. You are correct. Yeah. 3 for 3, all tied up.
Tainted Love.
That was a good one.
Okay. Let's see. Are you ready?
Yeah. Round 2.
All right.
Let's go.
Round 2. We've got Nena.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And Babbage's. I'll just say it again because it's fun to say. Babbage's.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go with Gotcha is the store.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Babbage's is the Atari game and Nena is the band.
All right, close. 1 out of 3.
I knew I was off there.
Nena, the 99 Luftballons.
Oh.
You got that right?
Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha is the Atari game, and Babbage's is the mall store.
All right.
Yeah.
I was thinking Gotcha, the brand. I had like some Gotcha clothes when I was in.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Right.
All right, so one. All right. Here we go. First one, Asterix. Second one, Herman's. And the third one, Yazoo.
Okay, Herman's Sweater Barn. Yeah, my mom was a card-carrying member. We went to Herman's Sweater Barn all the time. What were the other two?
Asterix and Yazoo.
I mean, not asteroids.
No.
Asterisk. That sounds like a store. Okay. I'm going to go Asterix store, and the Yazoo
yes.
is an Atari game.
Close. But again, just one that round for Greg. The Yazoo and Asterix were flip-flopped. Yazoo was the band and Asterix was the game. And then Herman's, of course, was the store.
Did you go to Herman's Sweater Barn?
Well, we had a store where I grew up that was Herman's, and it was like sports apparel and stuff like that. Okay. But the Sweater Barn, I don't think we had Herman's Sweater Barn. But either way, it was a store.
Same thing. Yeah. Too funny. And once again, you stole one of mine with your soft sell. So give me a minute to you want to vamp some.
All right. Well, last time I talked about the weirdness of Atari games. So this time I'll talk about the weirdness of band names. There are some really weird. And I mean, there's some that like they're weird, but they're weird enough that everyone remembers them. So like, not that this is on my list, but like Chumbawamba, like everybody knows Chumbawamba.
Tub thumping.
So there's a fair number of those going back through the mid 80s and stuff like that.
Cool. I'm all set.
All right, cool.
You stole my soft sell. All right, here we go. Timbuk 3.
Okay.
Smoky Joe and Wicks and Sticks.
I'm not feeling too strong about my... All right, I'm going to go Wicks and Sticks is the store. And it was... I'm sorry, was it Timbuk 2? Timbuk 3?
Timbuk 3.
Okay. Yeah. And what was the other one?
Smoky Joe.
Smoky Joe. I know I'm going to do the opposite of what I should, but I'm going to go Smoky Joe as the Atari game and Timbuk 3 is the band.
Nicely done. Yeah.
All right. I pull ahead.
Well done.
All right. So you got to go 3 for 3, my friend.
Dang, I don't like pressure.
All right. Here we go. The last 3 are going to be Visage.
Okay.
Guess.
Okay.
And Z-Tac.
Okay. Guess is a mall store.
Okay.
Right. So Guess is the store. At least it's a brand of clothing. I'm assuming it's a store too.
Yeah, they got you through me. So be careful.
Yeah. Nice try. And then the other 2, please repeat.
Z-Tac and Visage.
I mean, Z-Tac has got to be the Atari game, and Visage is the store. No, the band. No, wait. Oh, band and Atari game. Visage is the band, and the Z-Tech is the Atari game.
Final answers?
Yes.
All right. 3 for 3 for Greg. So we're a tie.
Oh, no. What do we do?
Do we need to go to a tie break, or do we just want to...
How about we just pick one from our list? Just one, and we go back and forth.
We have to see if we can figure out what it is. All right.
We like to make up the game as we go along here at
I like that,
Latch-Key Dads.
That's good. So I guess you...
I'm going to get okay.
The order going, yeah.
All right. How about Madness?
Band.
Yes.
All right. Copy Cart.
I think that's a store.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Atari game.
Copy Cart?
Yeah.
Gosh. Don't. Nicely done, Tim.
Thanks.
I wanted that to go back and forth for a little while.
We can do best of 3.
I know right now. Copy Cart.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Weird random Atari games,
Those were the most fun. Looking up was the Atari games, because there's just hundreds and hundreds of them out there.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good time. But cheers to another game.
All right. So what's going on, Tim?
I don't know. We have hot mics, and we're sitting at our mics, and we have some stories, I think, right?
I think we're going to do some back and forth fun stories.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Kind of like a continuation from like a couple episodes ago.
Yeah. It was fun. I think it's time to tell some more stories about our back stories.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll go ahead and start if that's cool.
Yeah, please
right.
go ahead.
I'm going to pick through some random numbers again here, and I picked number 9.
Number
Yes.
9.
Number 9 falls under the category of concerts.
Ooh.
So
okay.
I went to a fair amount of shows back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I kept most of the ticket stubs from the shows that I went to. And this particular show was down, I think at the time it was still called the Tweeter Center, which is down on the Camden waterfront.
The T Center. They shortened it to T Center, yeah.
And now I have no idea what that particular location is called, but regardless.
Yeah. It changed like many times in a short period of time.
Yeah. So most of the shows I went to down there were during the summer. They were the festival kind of shows where there'd be multiple bands. The back would be wide open, so you'd be in the lawn and still see the show.
Mm-hmm.
But this particular show that I'm going to share was one where it was more in the colder months, and they had like these giant walls that they could put up in the back, so it was like an enclosed space. Mm-hmm. So it was a Tool concert.
Okay.
And I went with my wife, and us leaving to go to the show, I was going to wear what I would normally wear to a show of that type, some black everything, probably some other, shirt with some, graphic on it or something.
Of course.
And my wife was like, I don't think you want to wear that. She's like, I got this really nice polo for you.
Oh, no.
And at the time, I was like, all right, whatever, sure, I'll wear a polo. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm going to get my butt kicked at this Tool concert because she went up in a polo shirt.
Wow.
So anyway, I wore a polo to a Tool concert.
Was it a black polo?
It was a black polo.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's still something about having a collar on my shirt and being at a Tool concert. I just, I think Tool and me kind of fit together. But anyway, for what it's worth, it was a amazing show. I mean, the lead singer of Tool, Maynard, whether you like Tool or not, I mean, he's got a really amazing voice. And the musicians are really talented. And, again, if you don't like their type of music, I think you can still appreciate like how talented those guys are, and live, some bands don't marry up as well with their their live performances to their CD or digital version of their song. But Tool, it was a really good show, and but I wore a polo.
Oh man, I wish there was a picture.
Probably is somewhere. So anyway, not a great story, but still, I thought it was funny that my days of wearing like my Doc Martens and oversized wide leg pants and whatever to concerts I'd gone in high school or in college. The early years of marriage and a polo to a Tool concert. Yeah.
But anybody say anything to you, or little looks, little sideways glances?
I think it was more my own insecurities, worrying about other people caring what I wore, and honestly, I don't think anyone could have cared less about what I was wearing. But yeah, nobody gave me any trouble. So.
It's funny. I got an opposite kind of situation. I was a big Ozzy Osbourne fan, and my girlfriend one day just said, I got tickets to Bruce Springsteen, let's go. And I really don't like Bruce Springsteen. I understand, he's a songwriter and a poet and all that stuff, but his music just doesn't do it for me. But she bought the tickets and I had to go. Sure. And so, kind of being rebellious, I wore my Ozzy Osbourne shirt to the concert, and we go, and she's got nosebleed seats, and the seats as we're going up, it was at the Spectrum. Okay. And we're in behind the stage. And I was like, oh gosh, we're not even going to see him. And we get up there, and where our seats are were 2 spotlights. And there was a note taped to the seat, "See attendant." And so we're like, okay, because like literally our seats were like part of the scaffolding with lights attached to them. So we're like, okay, so we go talk to the attendants, and they're like, oh, it's your lucky day, 7th row, Bruce Springsteen. I felt like he was looking at me wearing the Ozzy shirt, going, what is that guy doing here? But I will say he put on a great show. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of his, but he put his heart out into every song. I mean, he really, the sweat was coming off him. I mean, he cares, and he puts on a good show for what it's worth. Yeah. Cool. But a little opposite of
well, it's all connected though. It's all about what we're wearing and what we think everyone else thinks of what we're wearing.
Yeah.
Because it's all about us.
It is. At the end of the day, it's Latch-Key dads.
That's right.
All right, my turn?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, sorry I inserted another story in there.
Yeah,
but
that's what it's all about.
all right, let me pull a number from the hat here. Number 4. Oh, this is a pretty short one, but back in high school, we loved to play pranks on one another, and we all did kinds of course, right, silly kind of pranks. And I really wanted to do something for my best friend in high school and really get him in senior year. So I had my one buddy look over his shoulder when he was undoing his locker. So over a course of a couple of weeks, we figured out his locker combination. And so we opened his locker and we went in and we started undoing the screws to the door. And then with that morning, we got up really early, drove to school, found like a side road, and we dug up a bunch of dirt and bought a bunch of plants. And we went into school real early. We took the door off the locker, took all his books out, filled it halfway up with dirt, and like sealed it with like saran wrap. And then like planted a little garden in there. And then we took his locker and we wrapped it up in like Christmas paper and stuck it outside. And I mean, it was just like stupid, but it was so much fun. And the funny thing was, the rumor at the end of the day was that he had been busted for growing marijuana in his locker. So
you never talk to him again.
Yeah.
He got arrested. No, I'm just kidding. It's funny. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that I have any other, stories that are that good about a locker. The only thing I can remember is that the lockers in my junior high, they were super narrow, and my locker mate, whatever you want to call it, the kid would always grab between our two doors when he was like rooting around in there. Mm-hmm. And like I'd always have to be like, hey man, I'm gonna close my locker, and he would always kind of just do his thing. And so like I think one day, maybe on purpose, maybe not, I don't know, I just said, I got all my stuff and I didn't really look, and I just slammed my locker.
Yeah.
And his hand, of course, was between the two of them, and it latched on the bottom but not on the top. And he's like, hey, my hand. And I mean, I did feel really bad that I kind of locked his hand in. So I just grabbed the top of my locker and I pulled, bent it back, and he pulled his hand out, and he was like, my hand. Needless to say, he never grabbed it between the two doors again, but kind of mean-spirited, but whatever.
You taught that jerk a lesson.
Yeah, it was a low point in my 7th grade career.
Well, we're kids. Right?
Yeah. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
All right, I think you're up.
Story number 2. Let's see, I got story number 3, which is under the college heading.
Ooh, you've got good college stories.
Some of them. This one we'll see. I don't think I injure myself in this one, so we'll see.
All right.
Okay, so this would have been my freshman year in college. I commuted. I didn't live on campus. So I decided that with all my free time, when I wasn't hanging out after class in a dorm room, I would buy an old Jeep. So I bought this Jeep Wrangler that was like,
oh, cool.
It was all destroyed though. Like it had been in a fire, like it had an engine fire, and like it was just destroyed. So I spent my freshman year like every night just till the wee hours of the morning tearing this old Jeep apart and putting it back together and buying parts. And so come my sophomore year, I decide I'm going to live on campus, and I've got this Jeep Wrangler, and I'm like, this is going to be great, and I had a part-time job off campus, so I could have a car, a lot of times under class.
You had to have a car. Yeah.
So I'm like, this is going to be great, and so our campus was set up that most of the classes were on the northern campus, and then the art students were down on the south campus. So you'd have to either take the bus or find a friend who had a car to get from campus to campus. So it's early in my sophomore year, and there's these 2 upperclassmen girls that, they were attractive, and I didn't really know them very well, but I'm going to leave class, and they're going to leave class, and I'm like, hey, do you guys need a ride to North Campus? I'm like, oh, that'd be great.
You were pimping.
And I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome, And so we all pile into my Jeep, and I put the key in the ignition.
Oh, no.
And I got to turn it over, and the Jeep won't start. no, please, come on. If there's one time, like, you've never not started. You've always started. And so after some, feeble attempts to try to get it to start, it just won't go. And then there's this kid who I just absolutely despised, who like is rolling up behind us in his like Volvo station wagon.
Of course, it's a Volvo.
And he like yells over, "You having some car trouble? I can give you guys a ride." And the girls got out, and he gave a ride, and I was like, "No, I got it." And I just stayed down there until I could get it running. And needless to say, it was not the the exciting opportunity for a young underclassman to show off his cool Jeep that he put together and all that. But in the end, I did end up dating one of those girls later on in my college career. So,
nice.
I guess it worked out sort of, but we broke up, and it is what it is. But
you got your revenge eventually.
Yeah. So
it's not, I mean, that's like a plot to like most 80s movies, right?
Exactly. I think it was a movie.
It's starring John Cusack.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, I did end up keeping that Jeep for quite a long time, and it was a fun car. We had a lot of good times, and funny enough, when I started dating my wife, we had gone on a camping trip, and we spent the whole weekend at this little campground, and then we go to leave at the end of the weekend. And again, I go to start the Jeep.
Oh, man.
And it wouldn't start. And this was like very early on. Like we hadn't been dating, super long. And I got out and I went around to the back of the Jeep and I leaned on the spare tire, and I was like, okay, I need some divine intervention. I can't like call my dad or like a friend to like come and rescue us. Like this has got to work. So I walked around to the front, I popped the hood, and I started fiddling around in there, and finally found that like there was something that had like come loose on the carburetor. Yeah. And so I grabbed some electrical tape, and I just electrical taped it back together, got in the car, and it started up, and I was like, thank you. Thank you. And I'm pretty sure that's what sealed the deal. I think that's why we're married today.
That's that's a good dad tip, to always keep electrical tape in your car.
It's invaluable. Yeah.
The electrical tape in the car and the duct tape in the house.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a good thing you got it to work, because it would have been a long ride.
Yeah. Like I'd be single today.
Yeah. Oh man.
So anyway,
that's good. Yeah. It's my turn. I think it is.
I think it is.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Number three. Number three. It's funny. I just actually told this story to my kid just the other day. So I watched a lot of TV growing up, and as a little kid, you thought food fights were kind of like normal, kind of common. Mm-hmm. You saw it in a lot of kids' movies and stuff, or like the pie fights and stuff. So I don't know. I must have been like 6 years old or so, and my mom took us to Roy Rogers for chicken, and she sat me at the table and with my brother, who's 4 years older. So if I was 6, he might have been like 10 or something like that. And she says, just sit here. I'm like, go get the food, right? Simple instructions. And sure enough, on the counter were the the very generic red bottle of ketchup and red plastic squeezy bottle, and then the yellow squeezy bottle for mustard. And I don't know why, I just picked up the red ketchup. I looked at my brother, and I just squeezed it in the stream of ketchup, just like right down the center. And he looked at me like, "Are you crazy?" And what did he do? He picked up the mustard and hit me back. And so we like squeezed, we hit each other for a few moments until my mom comes running over, grabs us by the wrist, and yanks us the heck out of there. I couldn't explain. I just thought it was like, I don't know, seize the moment, I guess. But
well, at that age, like your prefrontal cortex isn't completely formed. You just have a thought, and you're like, I'm going with it. No governor.
It's nothing. Yeah.
That's so funny.
And got my brother mad, and what did he do? But retaliate. But got no reason, Mom. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Just wanted to see what would happen. That's awesome. I want to believe that with the amount of, with 4 kids that we would have had some sort of like food fight at my place, but unless I got, flashy lighted so I wouldn't remember the chaos.
The beatings,
I don't remember ever having like a full on food fight. Even in like elementary school, like that was always in a movie. There was always someone who would stand up and be like, food fight. And no, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, the closest I remember in elementary school was like, spitballs, and this is funny. We were in elementary school. I want to say like 3rd grade, and a bunch of kids were shooting spitballs, and I was like, oh, that seems like something I should probably do. So I had my straw, and I had balled up the paper, and I was about to shoot a spitball, and I hadn't yet done anything, but somehow the lunch lady saw me and grabbed me and takes me out, and I was like, no, I didn't. No,
do it yet.
I'm not going to rat out my friends, but no, I was just entertaining the idea of it. I didn't do it. Come on.
I was just entertaining the idea.
I wanted to see what the accoutrement was necessary to accomplish a spitball, but I wasn't about to do it. Come on. Yeah, so anyway.
And you got busted and you didn't even shoot one.
I know. I didn't even get the glory of shooting it. So, not a food fight, but
still fun.
Fun with condiments. Number 3. All right, here we go.
All right.
Right. Okay, so I picked story number 8, again under the concert heading.
Oh, nice.
This would have been in high school.
Okay.
I had gotten tickets to Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, nice.
And so my girlfriend and I were going to drive down to the Mann Music Center, which was outside of Philadelphia. And I had been driving for, I'd say, at least I was probably like 17, so I'd been driving for a year-ish, give or take.
Yeah.
And so my parents, were okay with it, but, my dad, I guess didn't feel super confident in like me navigating down there.
Yeah, it's not.
This is all pre-GPS and everything.
Yeah.
Like that. And the night of the show, the traffic and everything, like you wanted to just make sure that I had it locked in as to where I needed to be and where to park and the whole thing. So the night before the show, my dad and I got in the car and he drove me
get out of town
to the Mann Music Center. We circled around and familiarized me
awesome.
with the area. And we talked to a few locals about the parking situation. And then we drove home. And then the next night he gave me the keys to his car.
Oh.
And we drove down there and we went to the show, and it was an amazing show.
Oh man. Because that was their prime. Like that's like right when they were hitting.
And what was funny though is that they were the opening act for Butthole Surfers. So, we saw the whole STP show. The crowd was going insane, and we were in the balcony. So when everyone, like when the music would really hit, and like everyone would kind of like, move their head or their body, you could feel the balcony kind of like sway a little bit, which was intense. And then, they'd finish up, and then the Butthole Surfers come out, and like my girlfriend and I look at each other and we're like, do you know any of their songs? And she's like, well, there's that one. And I'm like, oh yeah, that one song called Pepper.
Yeah.
Which thankfully they opened up with Pepper.
Oh, really?
So we stayed for that, and we're like, well, let's beat the rush. Let's get out of here. My dad showed me a good way to get out of the parking area. So just get out of here. So yeah, we got in, parked without a problem. We left early without a problem. Cool. So
yeah, and you got to see an amazing show.
Yeah, no, it was a great show. It was a lot of fun.
I bet. Yeah. Did they? I wonder if that was like they had started the tour as a no name, and then like by the end of the tour they're bigger than the opening act, kind of.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of before they had even really, become sort of a household name.
Mm-hmm.
We had just. We had heard of them through like some channels, that they were this like new band that were kind of hot. And it was a great show. It was so fun. So
that's awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah. And actually on our website, there's a picture I put up when we talked about my summer vacations. And then I said I had gotten braids in my hair. And before I could find that photo, I put up a picture of myself with longer hair. And I was holding a microphone, and that was me karaokeing to some Stone Temple Pilots.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Scott Weiland and his voice, like I was convinced I could pull that off pretty well, which anyone who heard me karaokeing probably thought otherwise, but I thought it was pretty solid.
Well, was it, a voice you could kind of mimic, but they were so good.
Yeah.
They were so good. Album number 4, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we could do a whole series of shows on concerts we've been to, I bet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's so many great shows. I mean, that I guess probably maybe late 80s, but, early 90s into late 90s. I mean, I was at shows constantly.
Constantly, right? Yeah. Chili Peppers a lot of times. Pearl Jam. Yeah. We'll save that for another day.
Yeah. Soundgarden, that was a great show.
I never saw STP. I never saw Soundgarden.
Yeah, Soundgarden I saw at there's a local, close to where we are now. There's a college, Lehigh University, and they used to have concerts all the time at Stabler.
Yeah,
and I saw Nirvana there. I saw Stones.
Get out of here!
I saw Soundgarden there. I'd have to go back and check, but I probably saw 10 to 12 really good shows at Stabler, which is super small.
Yeah.
And the Electric Factory. I saw a ton of shows down there, which again is a really small venue down in Philly.
Yeah.
Saw some great shows there.
I saw Bob Dylan at Stabler.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It wasn't that good of a show.
Well, it was intimate. Yeah, it's a small stadium.
Yeah. He's just playing his new album that nobody knew one song of, and
that's a bummer.
Yeah, he only played 2 of his hits, or the songs that you would know. So
yeah,
it's just kind of like, I want to hear like like a Rolling Stone. I want to hear or whatever. I can't think of Bob Dylan titles on the top of my head, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right, my last story.
Let's hear it.
All right. Number 7. So this goes under the fortitude, being a twin dad topic. A little similar to that other story I told, but we took the kids out to a mall, like the outdoor promenade near us, and the twins were like probably 3 or 3.5, maybe 4, and we went to the little candy shop they used to have there. So I let one of the boys pick out any candy they wanted, and one of them picked out this gummy dinosaur, which was, a really big dinosaur gummy, and it was green. Like, I would never have picked out something like that. It was disgusting. And we go outside, and we're sitting there. I think we're watching like the fountains or whatever, some kind of fun little activity. And he's like, "Daddy, can I have some?" So I took the wrapper off and I handed him and said, "You can have a couple bites now, and you can have some more later." And then Helen and I started talking and watching the fountains. And I turned around and he ate the entire freaking gummy.
Oh my gosh!
Like it was like, oh, and I mean it was like 30 seconds and it was gone. And I was like, okay. So I didn't, I was like, all right, well, what are you gonna do? You eat the candy, you know? And then so we went home, put him to bed, and then within like 15 minutes, we hear some crying and run up the steps, and there he is, leaned out of his bed, throwing up all this green nastiness all over the carpet. It was so gross. And that didn't come out, of course, at the carpet.
That's where the
garbage can, night table, whatever, lamp.
Yeah. Right in the middle of the room. Yeah.
Oh, man, it was so gnarly.
Are you guys part of the movie Ghostbusters? Is that where Slimer comes to explore?
It comes up right through it and left a little ectoplasm. Yeah. So that was pretty gross. Yeah. Learned a lesson.
Yeah. Kids and candy, though, it's amazing how quickly, like, I feel like there were times where, same thing, like you'd give them something and like you'd be like, where did it go?
Yeah.
How did that happen so very quickly? But yeah. And now as teenagers, it's the same thing. It's like, where did all the food in the entire house go?
Entire house. It's amazing. You open up a box of cereal, it's gone by the end of the day.
Yeah. Or something that has like 12 or 15 in a box or whatever. And you're like, I wanted One. And all there is now is an empty box in the cabinet. Thanks for leaving the empty box, by the way. Teenage pro tip. Well done.
Empty box in the closet, and we found wrappers in the closet. So that just meant they were grazing. They went over, they ate it while like looking for something else, and then just threw the wrapper in and then left. You know, you're like,
yeah,
thanks, guys.
Yeah. Same with the doors in my car. I'm always finding like wrappers just in the little side pocket there. I'm like, oh, thanks for that. That's nice.
Crumbs and lollipop sticks and
the lollipop sticks. When they were younger, every time you go to grab the handle of the door, you'd be like, oh, thanks. Sticky stick. Thank you.
Thanks, kid.
And the handle of the refrigerator.
Oh.
I don't understand. Like, I mean, my kids don't generally walk around with like just sticky hands, but like, how is it that the refrigerator handle is still sticky all the time?
Every single time.
That's funny.
Yeah. Cool. Tim, did you know that listeners should like, review, and subscribe to the Latch-Key Dads podcast?
No. But now I know.
Knowing is half the battle.